Today on Public Eye News, NMU nursing students help out with administering the COVID-19 vaccine, and violent protests in England leave police injured. Later, Brady Hinshaw will have your weather, and I will be back with your sports. Hi, I'm Joseph Sigourney, and this is Public Eye News. For Northern Michigan University students studying in the healthcare fields, hands-on experience is irreplaceable. The COVID-19 pandemic had made it difficult to obtain that experience because many courses were restructured to an online format. However, NMU nursing students were able to assist with vaccination clinics. Students were able to administer the Moderna vaccine at the Munising Sioux Tribe Health Center located in the Grand Island Chippewa Community Center. The Sioux Health Centers of Chippewa Indians is a federally qualified health center, meaning it is a community-based organization that provides comprehensive primary care and preventative care to persons of all ages, regardless of their ability to pay or health insurance status. For a rather unusual reason, Peter White Drive in Marquette will be closed for vehicle traffic from 6 p.m. until 8 a.m. every night from now until April 15th for salamanders. The Superior Watershed Partnership and NMU's Biology Department have partnered with the City of Marquette to close the road on Presque Isle during peak times of blue-spotted salamanders migration. The salamanders migrate across the road in the evenings during the spring to lay eggs in the swamp near the lake. In 2019, a study found that 400 salamanders were being killed by cars each year on that road. The act of closing the drive started last year and drastically decreased the deaths. The Marquette County Prosecutor's Office Friday announced the completion of a sting operation to combat human trafficking and child prostitution, according to WNMU-TV. The Prosecutor's Office said it was a joint undercover operation involving the Marquette County Sheriff's Office and the Marquette Police Department, the Michigan State Police and the Upper Peninsula Substance Enforcement Team, and the Genesee County Sheriff's Office. According to Genesee County Sheriff Christopher Swanson, the sting was called Operation Northern Exposure and said that the newly formed team arrested 6 predators between the ages of 32 and 64 years old. The Marquette County Prosecutor's Office is calling the sting an outstanding success. Without ice on Lake Michigan, we're now able to see the difference in water levels compared to record highs we saw last summer. Meteorologist Will Henney is in South Haven and tells us if we'll see the erosion barriers removed before the beach season arrives.
The fall and winter is really the time of the year where the Great Lakes go into that seasonal decline. But in the last 4 months or so, the below average precipitation across the Great Lakes region has caused those lake levels to drop even more. Now, water levels on Lake Michigan, they're about 2 inches lower than they were last month, and we're about 10 inches lower than they were at this point last year. That being said, the lake remains about 2 feet above average for the month of March, meaning that the high water worries aren't over just yet. Erosion barriers on South Beach are one of 3 separate high water mitigation projects across the city. The city's wastewater treatment plant along the Black River Channel also remains barricaded with 2 pumps still working. Now, with more rain as we head into the spring and summer months, water levels will start to go back up. City of South Haven Public Works Director Bill Hunter says it's still too soon to remove the barriers.
We took the elevations and they look similar actually to 2019 when we started seeing flooding in these areas. Flooding of this area, South Beach, Dunkley, and the wastewater plant. So just that being said, we want to be cautious and just keep them in place for now.
Now, in the latest forecast from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, they have Lake Michigan rising between now and July about a foot, but that is still going to remain about a foot lower during the season peak than it was last year. Now, the city, they're going to reassess come July whether or not they're able to remove those barriers for the back half of beach season. We'll send it back to you in the studio. I'm meteorologist Will Henney in South Haven.
Stay tuned because after this break, we'll be back with your national and international news.
On the next Legacy List with Matt Paxton, Matt and the team travel to the nation's capital, where they help a couple of librarians turn the page and start a new chapter in their lives.
Moving is going to be hard for you. Everything has an emotional tie.
After 30 years, they're moving out of a home filled with family treasures.
We will miss this when we move. That's why we need your help.
That's why I'm here.
Tonight at 9 on WNMU-TV.
Welcome back. Despite the clamor to speed up the U.S. vaccination drive against COVID-19, the first 3 months of the rollout suggest faster is not necessarily better. A surprising new analysis found that the rapid expansion of eligibility caused a surge in demand too big for some states to handle and led to serious disarray. These findings contain important lessons for the nation's governors, many of whom have announced dramatic expansions in their rollouts over the past few days after being challenged by President Joe Biden to make all adults eligible for vaccination by May 1st. The Supreme Court said Monday it will consider reinstating the death sentence for Boston Marathon bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, presenting President Joe Biden with an early test of his opposition to capital punishment. The justices agreed to hear an appeal filed by Donald Trump administration. The case won't be heard until the fall, and it's unclear how the new administration will approach Tsarnaev's case. German authorities were expected to extend lockdown measures again today and possibly tighten some more restrictions as they face a steady rise in coronavirus infections. Chancellor Angela Merkel said the country's 16 state governors held a video conference nearly 3 weeks after last agreeing a several-step plan and paving the way to relax some rules. Since then, infections have increased steadily, and the more contagious variant first detected in Britain has become more dominant. Most lockdown restrictions are currently set to run through March 28th. The Chancellery is proposing an extension until April 18th. The Russian Foreign Ministry said Monday that Washington has rejected President Vladimir Putin's offer to arrange a quick public call with President Joe Biden to help diffuse tensions raised by Biden's recent remark that the Russian leader was a killer. Russia initially responded to Biden's comment by recalling its ambassador in Washington. Putin noted that Russia would still cooperate with the United States when it supports Moscow's interests and suggested that he and Biden have a call on Friday or today, and that would be broadcast. Cancer often leaves survivors with a compromised immune system. That's just one reason why several medical organizations are urging patients to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Nancy Chen has more.
Olivia Lingister was looking forward to retirement when she was diagnosed with liver cancer. Then the pandemic hit.
COVID has kind of really interrupted my life. You know, it's messed up everything. Losing my boyfriend, losing my best friend. It's been hard.
Through it all, the 60-year-old New York grandmother has tried to stay positive and healthy. And she says that's why she got the COVID-19 vaccine.
I've been through everything, you know, the surgeries, the chemo. It's better to have a shot in the arm than to be on a ventilator.
Many medical groups are recommending cancer patients and survivors get vaccinated when they can.
Cancer can affect the immune system and can affect, for example, the blood or the lymph nodes. And so the infection fighting capacity of our patients can be diminished.
A recent study shows cancer patients with COVID-19 are 23% more likely to require hospitalization. Dr. Tobias Hall is an infectious disease specialist with Memorial Sloan Kettering.
Preventing COVID-19, it also can help cancer patients get through their cancer therapies as quickly as possible.
The American Cancer Society suggests patients talk with their doctor before getting any vaccine. Some patients will need to time their shots around treatment.
You need all the tools in your toolbox to help you to make sure that you can be healthy, you can remain healthy and live a healthy life.
Olivia says getting the shot also brings her one step closer to being able to see her grandson after a long year apart. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Violent protests overnight in England left more than a dozen police officers injured. CBS's Tina Kraus is in London with the shocking scenes.
Riot police fought back demonstrators in the English city of Bristol. This protest against new police powers in the UK quickly spiraled into an attack on the officers themselves. Police vans went up in flames as rioters vented their fury against new legislation, giving officers more authority to tackle nonviolent demonstrations. Police say extremists hijacked the protest.
I would say that the people who were down here, so say protesting, were disgraceful criminals.
Under England's current COVID regulations, protests are not even allowed, but people continue to take part despite the risk of being arrested.
These are enemies of the people.
Police detained several dozen people at an anti-lockdown protest in central London over the weekend.
They need to agree to let people show solidarity. It's our choice. It's our choice at the end of the day, and that's what they're doing. They're taking our freedoms away.
As fears of a possible third COVID wave grip the UK, thousands marched through the British capital, most without masks. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Don't go anywhere, because after this break, we'll be back with your weather and sports. Stay tuned.
On this second season of Beyond the Canvas, see how a range of artists and creators process the world through art.
As an artist, when I see somebody being pushed down, I have to speak up. It's my duty.
Putting yourself in other people's shoes, I'm putting myself in other people's words. All of my works of art is a form of activism.
I want to live young. I want to think young. I would much rather wear out than to rust out.
Tuesday night at 9:30 on WNMU-TV.
Behind me on the NMU campus, there's some blue sky showing between those gray clouds, but if we look at our current conditions, it is partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 54 degrees, winds out of the northwest at 8 miles an hour, and barometric pressure of 29.97 and rising. Looking towards tonight, we have more partly cloudy skies with a low of 36, winds out of the northeast at 4 miles an hour. Looking towards tomorrow, we have rain with a high of 41, winds out of the northeast at 8 miles an hour. Now, if we look at our beautiful UP, it is clouds all across the board with 51 in Sault Ste. Marie, 47 in Manistee. If we look towards the other side, we have 54 in Escanaba, 60 in Menominee, 61 in Iron Mountain, 55 in Ironwood, 50 in Houghton, and back in beautiful Marquette, it is 54. Looking at our week ahead, we have Wednesday a high of 50 and a low of 27 in rain, Thursday a high of 30 with a low of 26 and cloudy, and Friday a high of 31 with a low of 25 and cloudy skies. Now on to Joe Sigourney with sports.
Thank you, Brady. The Northern Michigan University hockey team's postseason run came to a heartbreaking end Saturday night as they fell in the WCHA championship game to the number 17 Lake Superior State Lakers 6-3. The Lakers scored an early goal to give them an edge the Wildcats fought all game to overcome. The Lakers would get 2 in the period before Andre Gonhaus broke the Wildcats' scoreless run with a power play goal at the end of the second. The Wildcat offensive success continued in the opening minutes as third period as A.J. Vanderbeck found the back of the net to cut the Lakers' lead 4-2. After the Lakers scored for the 5th time, David Kiefer got one back for the Wildcats to make it 5-3. The Wildcats' season comes to a close with a final record of 11-17-1 as they fall just short of the automatic bid in the NCAA tournament as the WCHA runners-up. Northern Michigan University men's golf team opened their season this weekend as they took part of the SVSU Spring Invitational at the Kearney Hill Golf Links in Lexington, Kentucky. The Wildcats finished in 16th place as a team at the end of the 2-day invitational. And the Northern Michigan women's golf team was led by senior Carl Els and her 6th place finish at Saginaw Valley State University Spring Invitational this weekend. As a team, the Wildcats finished 13 out of 17 teams at the event at the Cherry Blossom Golf Course. NMU returns to action Tuesday and Wednesday in the Finlandly Spring Invite. The 2-day invite will take place in Lexington, Kentucky at the UK Big Blue Club. And the NMU volleyball have won now 9 consecutive contests, a 3-0 victory for Northern 24 Michigan University volleyball team over the GLIAC foe Lake Superior State University on Saturday afternoon kept the team's hot streak going. The Cats had a great strong start in the first with a 5-0 lead, with the first set ended 25-15. At the end of the second set, the Lakers showed some fight and tied the set 21-21. The scare from the home team did not face NMU as they took a 4-0 run to the 25-21 win. The third set ended 25-14 in favor of the Wildcats to take a 3-0 match win. And that is all the time we have here on Public Eye News. On all of us down here at the station, thank you, and we will see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.